Hello out there. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. We're on the air. Well, it's Wednesday. It's hump day. And I'd love to say I'm feeling better. Actually, I am. You might not be able to tell right away, but my voice is still a little bit choppy. But I'm feeling better. Had a good long sleep, good nap yesterday. Trying to get some fluids in me, but I'm in a much better mood. I'm in a much more alert mood, you might say, than yesterday. Yesterday was rough. So I apologize for anybody who sat through that one yesterday. I mean, it was okay, but it was first one back after holidays, feeling like absolute dog shit. But we're here today. Zap.stream, make sure we're live there. We are. Silver Fox, good morning, my friend. Timber Crashers in the chat. We got Jose. How's everybody doing today? Happy hump day. Got a really low voice today. Maybe I'll just talk at this like ASMR again for this show. What do we think? Holy shit, never mind. We got Mav over in the chat with a zap of 4.2K sats. All caps. Good morning. Thank you, Mav. Appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate that a lot. Mav's all caps. I mean, how could you not be? How could you not be? We're going to look at the metrics here in a sec. Things, if you're valuing your Bitcoin based on the price of fiat, you're probably not in too great of a mood today. But if you don't really care, then that's where we are today. Leith is over in the chat as well. Good morning. Okay, well, let's get right into things today. I kind of feel like I feel better, but I feel like my head, it's like when you go up in an airplane too fast or come down too fast and your head just like feels like it could explode. That's kind of how I feel right now. So if you're having a good, healthy day in the sunshine, just be thankful for that. And if you don't have to sit on YouTube and talk to people, feel even better about yourself. Okay, well, we got some stuff to talk about. Let's get to the metrics. So let's give away some more sats today. Letha was the champion yesterday, the winner. The state of the network, the mempool. We're currently sitting at block height 850536. Fees are still incredibly low. These are the lowest I've ever seen them. Well, not ever, but since we've been doing the show. 3 blocks ago, you could have sent some Bitcoin for 6 sats per VByte. 6. And this is kind of, honestly, this is where the mempool was for the most part. Like if you look back, I'm sure if we went to block like 700,000, 600,000, the fees would all be around 1 sat per VByte, 2 sat per VByte. Very cheap, very easy to move Bitcoin. And then when fees get high, that's when people start panicking. Oh, we're on the wrong fucking screen here. Jesus. Okay, I said I was more alert, but am I? I don't know. We'll be the judge today. You'll be the judge. So 7 sats per VByte. We got via BTC. We had Antpool, via BTC, and Antpool. There was a tweet last night. Somebody said, who was it? Somebody I just started following. Oh, it was Bob Burnett from Barefoot Mining. He posted a picture of the mempool, and it said, do you see a problem here? And the last 5 blocks were all mined by Antpool. So that has been a common discussion, I think, in the last little while about the Bitcoin network and the centralization of miners. But it seems like, in my opinion, I think it's going to be a short-term problem. I think over the long term, the more and more people who are going to start mining at home, the more businesses who are going to start mining just to offset some of their utility costs. This is going to happen over a long time, but it will happen. And I think that we will get back to a fairly decentralized Bitcoin network and mining pools. But I got a couple Bitaxes myself. I think they're showing up today. So I ordered 2 Bitaxes. I'm going to start doing a little bit of mining here. Lottery mining, though. Here, I'll get this off the screen. So the two Bitaxes, from what I understand, is that they're not going to take a whole lot of power. From what I've heard, it's about $5 a month, maybe, added to your utility bill, depending on what country, state you're in. But it's a lottery. So there's a very low chance that I'll actually hit a block. But if I do, could you imagine the last block reward was a total of what? 3.2 Bitcoin, $192,000 equivalent today. So the 3.125 subsidy and then the fees of 0.09. Wow, that's tough. That's tough for the fees. Let's just look at, I mean, that was an anomaly, but let's look at block height. What was it? What was the halving? 800 and what? I forget now. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We don't need to look at it, I guess. What was it though? So it's every, okay, maybe my brain's not working as well as I thought it was today. But that block height, when the fees were like 500 sats per VByte, I think the miners took home about 10 Bitcoin, maybe more. So anyways, with the Bitaxes, you hit one block in your whole mining lifetime, and you're going to win 3 Bitcoin before the next halving, I guess. Okay, let's get to the metrics. Let's do this, the giveaway for today. We got Django over here, and we got Rock and Roll. Good morning, wonderful Bitcoiners. Morning, brother. So we got the price today, July the 3rd, 2024. So tomorrow's America Day, right? July 4th. Must be a holiday there. So that's a long weekend then. I'm guessing you won't be going back to work on Friday. An extra long weekend for the Americans today. So the price, 60,000. Oof. $60,361 US. 1 year ago today. I mean, even at 60,000, it's still 100% up from last year this time. So this time last year, you could have purchased a Bitcoin for $31,156 US. And 4 years ago today, could have got one for $9,115 US. The Moscow time today, and this always ends in weird cells. There we go. 1669. It was actually 1666, but we couldn't have that on the screen. So if you have $1 US kicking around, you can convert that into 1,669 sats. And the price here in Canada today, 81,954 Canadian dollars. Seems really low. Seems like a couple months ago we were just maybe a month ago even, we were nipping at $100,000 here in Canada. So the price is down. It's one heck of a time to be buying sats, and that's what you should be doing right now because everybody else is enjoying their summer holidays. Everybody else is planning trips, putting their kids in the car, kicking their feet up, getting some sunshine. But you need to be buying sats because this is the time to be buying it. Everybody else, the 95% of people, all buy when price is going up, but you need to be in the other part where you buy when price is down. Moose Jaw time today. The Moose Jaw time, which is sponsored by Bitcoin Well, our newest friends of the show. $1 Canadian will get you 1,219 sats. So if you got $1 Canadian, head over to bitcoinwell.com/Jor, Jor. Sign up for an account and get some Bitcoin today. Convert those Canadian dollars into real money. So with that, let's get to, I'm going to stop sharing this for a sec. I'm going to go to our Bitcoin Well. And let's check on Zap.stream quickly as well. We got Ahsoka Tano. Good morning. It's a new one. Oh, my balance is low. Let me top this up quickly before they cut me off, before they shut the lights off here. Oh, we also got Arnie in the house today. We got a live guest. I think he's still here. Yeah, he's snoozing. Arn. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. live audience today. Okay, let's top this up. And then let's head over to Bitcoin Well, where one lucky person today in the YouTube or the Zap.stream is going to win an unknown amount of sats. Also, big shout out to Adam at Bitcoin Well. I don't know if anybody had a chance to watch the Bitcoin Rodeo, as Jason said here in the chat yesterday. I watched the majority of it. I tried to watch as much as I could. The audio was kind of crappy for a lot of it, but I mean, you get what you pay for. So I'm not complaining about that. But I think my favorite part of the show yesterday was actually the roast. The roast was pretty funny. They had a comedian, JP Sears, I think, Spears, one of the two. Oh, that was the wrong password. And he was pretty funny. They were throwing some daggers, though. I couldn't believe the... Now I got to verify myself. Hold on. Oh, there we go. So the roast is right at the end of the show, and I got some good laughs from it. So if you haven't had a chance yet, make sure to check that out. It's on YouTube. I think it was on BTC Sessions YouTube channel. So you can watch the day one of the Bitcoin Rodeo. Yeah, it was funny. JP was pretty good. They were all throwing daggers at each other, that's what you want. It wasn't, they weren't just doing it to be friends. They were doing it to get some laughs. Okay, so let's go over here. Let's redeem a few. Okay, so once again, how this works, very simple. All you need to have is a Lightning wallet. So if you got a Lightning wallet, get it ready, open it up. You can use Wallet of Satoshi, you can use Phoenix, you can use Mutiny, I'm guessing. And all you got to do is press send, have your phone ready to go. And whenever this QR code pops up on the screen here, you're going to have a chance to win. The first person who grabs it are going to win the sats. So here we go. Once again, this segment is sponsored by Bitcoin Well. And like I said, shout out to Adam for doing a great job on the roast. And also this episode's actually inspired by him. So during his chat, I think it was either at the roast or one of his speeches before that or presentations before that. But he said that Bitcoiners don't buy Bitcoin for their first name. Bitcoiners buy Bitcoin for their last names. And that hit home with me because that's kind of how I feel. And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I wanted to give a shout out to Adam for that. So here we go. Get your phones ready. We're going to redeem. Here we go. As soon as this QR code pops up on the screen, the first person to redeem it will win the sats. Let's see what we got. 500 sats again today. So scan that and let's see who wins the 500 sats today. Big shout out to Bitcoin Well once again. They are available in Canada and in the US, which is why they're perfect for the audience here. And they're a non-custodial Bitcoin platform, which means that every single Satoshi goes straight into your self-custody wallet. They offer free withdrawals, a simple 1% spread, which is what I love. Simple. And they have the wishing well, where if you sign up using the referral link or whatever you call it, bitcoinwell.com/Jor, you get 5 extra tosses into the wishing well. So there you go. Congrats to whoever got the 500 sats this morning. Let's get this off the screen and let's get to the show. Ninju, bonjour. Bonjour to you too. Okay, let's get back here. Okay, so we got Mav says Bitaxes are badass. I have one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I see I've seen quite a few of them online lately, and they are pretty badass. I think that it's going to be pretty simple to set up. I'll probably do a little bit of an explanation on the show of how it was for me as a very non-technical Bitcoiner to set up a Bitaxe. So I'm excited for that. I think it's coming today. Plunger, good morning. And Stacker zapped 2.1 thousand or 2.1K sats. Thank you. Says, why mine solo instead of joining a pool? I don't know. I guess I'm not 100% decided on that, honestly. Maybe I'll hook up one to a pool and one to a lottery. I don't know. I feel like with the amount of power that's actually going into the Bitaxe, I feel like the return on a pool would be very low, like almost insignificant low. But I could be wrong. That's what I'm going to learn in the experience here. If Stacker, if you got better advice for me, let me know, because I just kind of assume that since there's not a whole lot of energy going into the Bitaxes themselves, that they wouldn't produce a whole bunch of guesses. But the cool thing about that, and maybe just to touch on that for a sec, is that the cool thing about hooking up a Bitaxe, even though it's not going to take a whole bunch of your power, which is good, obviously, it's not going to be noisy, but you just need one guess. That's all it is. So all these miners, the more energy you put into the miners, the more guesses that it makes. So it's not like you're going up against a smarter computer. You're just going up against a more powerful computer in a actual miner. So all the bigger miners are doing is just spitting out more guesses. They're all just guesses. It's not like they have to solve a real hard equation. They're just guessing at it, right? So your Bitaxe is going to have a lot less guesses than a miner, but it just takes one. It just takes one. And I think that from what I've seen on it, it's one in, I think this was in the chat yesterday, in the Living in the Future chat. And I forget who said it, so I apologize for that. But I saw that it's every 1 in 700,000 blocks a Bitaxe would win, which is pretty good odds. I think I paid about $200 each for them. And if you hit one block there and win 3 Bitcoin, that's going to change your life big time. So worth looking into, I think, if you don't have one, if you don't know much about it. I should have a little bit to report here in the next little while on it. Timber Crasher's over on Zap as well. He's watching on both. Hello from Zap. I'm watching on YouTube as well. Love that. The best kind of audience. My Path to Fire also zapped 21 sats over in zap.stream. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's get to a little bit of news here today. Actually, we got a couple chats over here as well. And then you says, hey, I wanted to ask you, are you informed about CBDC? And if you are, I'd like to listen to your opinion and if it's a harm to Bitcoin. It's a good question. We'll take that one today. I do have an opinion. I think that CBDCs were actually the reason I got into Bitcoin. Because back in, I think it was 2020, 2019, there was a lot of talk about the whole reason behind the pandemic. I felt anyways, and I saw a bunch of people talking about this, is they're trying to lead everybody into a very controlled system, digital ID, where you'd have to use your ID to pay for everything and to do everything, to sign into everything. And that scared the shit out of me. So I've been paying attention to CBDCs for a lot of years now, and it led me to Bitcoin, because when you understand the difference between central bank digital currencies and Bitcoin, it's a very dark future compared to a very bright future. That's how I saw it. And I think that there will be a bunch of different countries. There are some countries who are already rolling them out. I do think that Canada will eventually, US will. When that happens, I think that we're kind of at the point now where enough people are aware that the central bank system is bad. I think that we are. And I think that even if they tried to roll it out, it would be they would fail miserably at it. It might survive for a while, but at the end of the day, I think that people are kind of at the point now where they've lost all trust in governments and central banks. And it's a very bad path to go down. Very bad path. So I think that it's not going to really have any sort of impact on Bitcoin. I think if anything, it's going to do good for it, because people are going to see, because if you think about central bank digital currencies, it's basically what we have now, honestly. Like When was the last time you went to, everything's digital. Everything's already digital. They can already see where you're sending money to, where you're getting money from. They have the ability to stop it if they don't like what you're doing online or in life. They have that ability now. They have the ability to freeze your bank accounts, which is what happened here in Canada during the trucker protest. So CBDC, I think it would be 100 times worse than what we have now, but we still have a version of that today. And just to go a little bit further down this path, because it is important. But when we were in Portugal, we got a Uber there from a young guy, and it was about a half-hour cab ride. It cost like $6, by the way. So if you're looking for a good place to live, a beautiful place to live that's very inexpensive, I would suggest Portugal. But anyways, this fella, he's a great guy. He's a new subscriber to the channel, actually, because we got to talking. And in Portugal, they're going through the same kind of thing that we're going through here. He said that they've had a couple liberal governments that have really hurt their country with mass immigration, with monetary policy. And I started talking about Bitcoin, and I said, well, we're going through the same thing here in Canada. Exact same thing, probably worse than there. Obviously, if a 30-minute Uber ride costs $6, that would probably cost $300 here in Canada. But so we started talking about money, and I said, there's a lot of Canadians now, and I emphasized a little bit, but it's true that the monetary policies, the Liberal government has created a lot of Bitcoiners here in Canada. So I said, here in Canada, what people have been doing is actually buying Bitcoin because our government is so overreaching right now. They started freezing bank accounts a couple of years ago. And because of that, the solution is Bitcoin. If you do it properly, they can't actually freeze your Bitcoin. They can't do anything with it if you do it properly. And so that really interested him. I said, most people think of Bitcoin and they think that Bitcoiners are only in it for the price movement and they want to get rich fast. But there's a lot of people out there who are actually using Bitcoin as a way to get away from their government's overreach. And he understood that. And so he said, I'm going to start paying attention to Bitcoin. I'm going to start watching some videos on YouTube. And I said, well, I do a show every morning, so make sure that you check out the channel and leave a comment on a video just so I know it's you. And he did. So his name's Pedro. He's from Portugal, and he's a great heck of a guy. And I hope that he's going to be a Bitcoiner someday. So I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I sent him a couple comments because I want to send him some Bitcoin as a tip for the cab ride. Because unfortunately, I didn't have any data on there, so I couldn't send him some Bitcoin on the fly. But moral of the story there, CBDCs, I think that they're really going to have no impact on Bitcoin. They're totally different, obviously. But I do think that it'll really open people's eyes to the differences between a centralized system like CBDCs, where they have the ability to cut you off, versus Bitcoin, a decentralized system with no ability to cut you off. And honestly, sorry, I don't mean to beat this to death, but the CBDCs, I think that the only thing it's going to do is further wake people up. And that's what we need. That's what we need in Bitcoin. That's the only thing that creates Bitcoin is price, and actually people becoming so pissed off at their, there's the bunny. Still alive. The bunny from a month ago is still alive. I knew he would because he's fucking fast. But yeah, okay, let's move on. James Bond, happy to hear you. Good to see you, man. Good to be back. It's good to be back. I just wish I was feeling a little bit better, but spirits are high today. Django's over in Zap.stream as well, and Plunger Zap 500 sats. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. So Rock and Roll has some information here about Bitaxes. 1 million Bitaxes running equals 1 exahash per second. At 1 exahash per second, a Bitaxe solo miner will hit a block on average every 4 days. So we're a ways from that. I don't think there's a million Bitaxes out there, but we will get there for sure. We will get there for sure, without a doubt. Okay, so let's catch up on a little bit of news here. There's not a whole lot, honestly, but I do have some things that I want to talk about on the second part of the show today. So I want to show this one just mostly because of the picture. I have no idea why they chose this picture, but anyways, this is from Julian Farhar on Twitter, and it says, "New Bank of New Hampshire has Bitcoin ETF exposure per SEC filings yesterday. Live free or die." So we're seeing the trend continue of banks holding Bitcoin ETFs. Just another one to add to the list there. And I just wanted to show the picture of the moose there. We have a bunch of these where I live. Bunch of moose. I got a really good friend named Moose too. Okay, where's the next one here? No, that's not it. Hold on. This is some more ETF info. Okay. So this is from Bitcoin News. This says over half of the top 25 US hedge funds invested in Bitcoin ETFs by Q1 2024, with Millennium Management leading the pack, holding 27,000 Bitcoin worth 1.69 billion, making 2.5% of their total assets. So just a couple things here to discuss. First of all, I mean, it's pretty cool that we have over half of the top 25 hedge funds invested in the ETFs, but it should be 100% of them. If we lived in a logical world, it should be 100% of them, and it should be 2.5% should be the average. 2.5 should not be the outlier there. So you got the biggest hedge funds in the world, Citadel Investment Group. How many Bitcoin do they have? 771. 771. There's probably people on NOSTR, random people on NOSTR, who own more than 7, maybe not. I don't know. That could be a stretch, but I don't know. That probably own more than Citadel Investment Group, more Bitcoin, more of the future monetary system. The whole world's going to be using Bitcoin. The whole world's going to be measured in Bitcoin. And the number one hedge fund in the US has 700 Bitcoin. So there's Bridgewater, number 2, has 0. So they're not going to be number 2 for very long. There's Millennium Management, 27,000. Wow. So they're going into Bitcoin. Keep an eye on them, Millennium Management. And then we got Mariner Investment Group with 400, and then we got the next 3 of them with 0. There's another one on here, Schonfeld Strategic Advisors. They got 6,000. So good and bad, I guess. Like the good news is that they're actually starting to invest in Bitcoin. But just think about how much more is going to come into that. During this next 12, 16 months, when Bitcoin starts really running, think about how much more is going to flow into this and how much of their capital is going to flow into the Bitcoin ETFs. We really haven't seen anything yet. Keep that in mind, I think, with everything going on, we haven't seen anything yet. The highest Bitcoin ETF or the highest hedge fund has 2.5% of their total assets in Bitcoin. Okay, so let's I think we're actually going to jump over to we're going to cut off YouTube, I think. Let me just make sure we don't have anything else. Actually, let's talk about this and we'll hop over. Okay, did I miss anything here? Timber Crasher says, yes, I would say lottery mining is the way to go. I got me some Avalon Nano solo lottery miners. Fingers crossed to hit a block. Could you imagine? I can't imagine. You just wake up one day and your Bitaxe has mined a block and you got three Bitcoin. And imagine if the fees are high. So that's my next question, though. That would be my next question. I'm guessing you would use some sort of a template, and this is something that I need to figure out myself. Because if you happen to hit a block, if you happen to win that block reward, you actually have to design the block. You have to choose the template. So I'm thinking probably when you set up the Bitaxe, there's probably some sort of software that comes with it, I would assume. But you have to actually decide which transactions go into the block. You get to decide on the template. But I'm just curious, like, do you get to do that, or does somebody do it on your behalf? I'm assuming it's you, but I don't know the process of that. I'm a very new miner, but I think the only way to learn this kind of information is by doing. Hold on, I apologize for my throat here today. It's not, we're not in the best shape. So this was a tweet that I saw on Canada Day. Sorry, I need to mute myself here for a sec. I had a tickle in my throat. Okay, so this is from July 1st, 2024. This is Tahinis. I don't know if you've heard of Tahinis or not, but I hadn't. And I did a little bit of looking into them after seeing this tweet. But this says Tahinis has just purchased a large amount of Bitcoin at a price of 86,000 Canadian dollars. That's what caught my eyes, was the CAD, because I knew obviously they were a Canadian company. And they're making the announcement themselves. It's not like a news company or Bitcoin News is covering this. So they said Bitcoin has done wonders for our company over the past 4 years since we started saving in it, and it will continue to do wonders over the next 4 years. This is why we are accelerating our monthly purchases from big to huge. We are not slowing down. We hope that all businesses and individuals see this as inspiration. Stay safe out there. So after a little bit of looking into Tahinis here, and I don't know how, there you go. So they are a Canadian company. It says the best Middle Eastern restaurant in the world, over 2.2 million subs on YouTube, 40 locations, and they got a Bitcoin sign on there as well. So they started buying here. This is the first thing I saw on their feed. This is from August 18th, 2020. And it says, as a small company that started in London, Ontario, Canada, we operate 4 corporate locations. Well, this is tough. I don't think that's how you spell franchise. 3 franchise locations about to open in Ontario. We just converted our entire cash reserves that were originally used as savings into Bitcoin. And then I looked a little bit further as well, and I don't know if this is on here or not. So here's the guy. There's no volume on this, but it doesn't really matter. There was another one here, though. But this was the, Preston Pish was here on June 29th at Tahinis. So they're a Mediterranean fusion cuisine. But the video that I saw on their feed, and when I looked them up, was actually the video with Pierre Poilievre. So he's one of the main political, Trudeau's main political opponent here in Canada. And when Pierre was talking about Bitcoin, he actually went to their restaurant and he bought is it shawarma? I don't know what that, I've never had them before, but he bought one of them with Bitcoin, and Pierre had that on his feed. So I knew that guy looked familiar, like that. Oh, it's off the screen here now. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty badass. So they have 40 locations. They've been buying Bitcoin with their cash reserves since 2020. They just announced on Canada Day that they went from big to huge. So that's a company to keep an eye on, I think, here. If they ever happen to go public, I hope they don't, but if they did, that'd be a very interesting one to see. Bitcoin Boomer says, cut off YouTube, say it ain't so. So what we're going to be doing here going into the future is I'm going to cut these shows off on YouTube at about half an hour. So that's my plan. But you got two options from that. You have two options to keep the show rolling. And I really want it to be as easy as possible for people. So in about a minute here, I'm going to cut off the show for the YouTube channel. And you can either go over to zap.stream. You can go to zap.stream and you can see my show right at the top there. Or you can go to bitcoinjourney.ca/Joe. It'll take you right to this feed. Or you can go to the Patreon. So I added I hope I did anyways. There's a new tier in there. It's $3 a month. It's similar to like the YouTube memberships, but I just didn't want to go through YouTube. I might still, just to make it easier for people. But you can just go to the Patreon. You can sign up for the $3, $5, or $8. You're going to be able to watch it on any of those. If you want to. If you want to watch it on YouTube, if you want to just keep the same format, you can. But if you don't want to, totally fine. It's going to be on zap.stream. You don't have to pay for it over there. And I really just want to migrate some people over from YouTube into zap.stream for one. Keep these shows a little bit shorter for the YouTube feed. And also just give people an opportunity to, if they want to support the show, an easy way to do that for a very low monthly amount. So with that, we're going to say goodbye to YouTube right now. We're going to keep the show going. We're going to talk about buying Bitcoin for your last name, long-term view. I got a graphic here to talk about in terms of the different quarters historically and what we can be expecting in Q3 and Q4 in terms of Bitcoin price. And one other thing, one cool story I found while I was in Europe about a business over there, and just a very simple business. And I took some notes and I'm going to talk about it over there. So we'll see you. Hopefully my voice will be better, but if not, I don't know. We'll see you over on zap.stream or we'll see you on the Patreon. Either one, we'll meet you there. So, and everybody else who doesn't feel like watching the second part, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.